I'm Robert Knoll. Welcome to part 2 of the E open blues journey. So continuing on with the open E, we're dealing with open E because it deals with open strings, okay? It's an open position. And I'm basing my E kind of like in a form 2. If I was to move it up to the 12th fret, I'd be playing a form 2, major scale, minor scale, dominant, pentatonics, all my scales in a form 2 area. But when we're open, we have the open strings form 2. So I hope that makes sense to you if you've been working with studying your scales and your forms. Dealing with the open strings was what makes key of E so great. You've got that great big fat open E, and you've got a high open E, so the root notes, and then you've got a middle root. So you've got 3 E's, right? And then your fifth, your perfect fifth is your B on the 2nd fret here, and you've got an open B. Okay? And then if we talk about a major or minor third, we're talking about G as a minor third, open G, or G major as the major third. Major third, major third, minor third. So that open G, that third finger, if I put a little distortion on this. That's your minor third, okay? Those primary notes, you need to see them in open E. My root notes, of course. But what about the perfect fifth, the B's? And then what about the minor or major third? And then, very important, the minor or major third. Identifying them and seeing them and being able to work with just the minor thirds in the open position or the major thirds. In this case, I was hammering that major third from the minor third. I could do it here too. And I could do it here. You can use some techniques of hammering and even pull-offs when I get up to this minor third up here. I can hammer, or a pull-off, or a hammer pull-off. And my vibratos. So there's so much I can do with that minor third, that blues tone. It has that dissonance that you can make it lead into the major third. It's very important. The perfect fifth, the B. So if we were playing blues in E and you go to your 1 chord to your 4 chord, A, E, F, G, A, 4 chord, E, F, G, A, B, your 5 chord. What we call the 5 chord would be B, B7. So our primary blues chords are 1, 4, 5, E, A, and B. Or B7 in the case here. Anyways, that B, I love hammering it from the 4 to the 5. And I know I've got the tritone here. There's that hammering from the minor third to the perfect fourth, which is A. Tritone's right next door. A. So A is our fourth, our perfect fourth. A. So you see how I'm using my E blues scale, but I'm supporting that perfect fourth. I'm also aware of that tritone. Or here we go. tritone. So what have I been doing? So far, I've been focusing on certain intervals. Here's something, if you're playing like your blues scale, your E, you got your fourth, you're even going chromatically here. Minor third, major third, perfect fourth. That perfect fourth, that tritone. Now look at the fingering I'm using. I'm using my first finger now. Open. And then my open B, my perfect fifth. Okay, it can either be played here or open. Now, why I might want to play it, because I might want to use it in a fingering. What if I did a chord like this, where I'm fingering my D, my dominant 7 or minor 7, and I've got my second finger on a B here on the fourth fret. So that's my fifth. 5, 7, open E is 1. 5, 7, 1. So you hear that all the time. You hear great riffs come out of this, like almost like a harmonic player. Hear my pick going down, up. So you hear that a lot. They call that double stopping, right? The technique of sliding in to that B, which is your fifth. I'm sliding into the fifth, and I'm kind of sliding into that dominant 7. And then I've got the open E available. So that gives me a triad, right? I've got open E, I've got my 7, I've got my 5, and then if I want to bar, I've got my little E chord, I've got my minor third right here. Or if I wanted to make it a major third. Turnarounds, right? We'll talk about that in the turnaround videos. I'm just wanting you to examine your intervals more. You need to see where your intervals are in E. I've been focusing on the minor third to major third. I've been talking about the fifth, the open B is a fifth, and then even closing it, playing the fifth here, B, so we can get that little triad, that little chord going, or that little double stop. And I can double notes here. We're going from you hear that major third in there. Major. Major. Now I do minor. And then our famous Chuck Berry riff. You can go to the 7, the minor third, which I've talked about in the first video. We could slide. We could even, instead of sliding to the root, I'm bending that 4. Minor third to perfect fourth. Sliding from 4 to 5. Adding to 7. How about 6? Ooh, major 6. How about that 9? Or the major second here. Anyways, I hope this gives you a little more details, a little more insight on what you can do with open E. I was dealing mostly with the blues scale, inferring the major third and minor third, so that you're able to turn that on and off and see those intervals. It's so important that you see your intervals. So also, I've ended the other video with doing a little bit of finger picking. So if you're doing the delta thing, okay, so here's the mystery part of the lesson, right? We've got the E. If I've got that E going, you see my thumb, root. That bass doesn't stop. Root, root, root. There's my major third. And then I might bring in the 9, I might bring in the minor third to major third, and the 7, the 6, the minor 6. All while this bass is still moving. That bass keeps going. This is what you want to train yourself to do. Keeping your hand set right, thumb playing in front of the wrist, and getting that bass where it's non-stoppable. You can do things with your index and second finger, hopefully most of the time alternating, and sometimes we use a third finger too in alternation. So you hear I've got a little riff going. I'm hammering onto the 6 and then hitting the open E, so I'm getting a hammer on. Little riff going there, but six, perfect fifth, 9. Hear the pull off, hammer on, pull off. Ooh, how about that minor second? How about that minor 6? How about the tritone? I got to keep that bass going now. How about the perfect fourth? A. Major third. Hammering the major third. How about the E7? I've got my first finger on E, my third finger's on the perfect fifth B, my second finger's on D, and my baby finger's on the major third, G sharp. So I'm still keeping my E bass going, you see? My open E and my first finger. So you want to be able to keep, you could even, I'm borrowing my first finger now for the F sharp, and then open. And then I can get right back into my open E chord from my E7 here. And I could even go to major, or I could be dealing with minor. So if I'm dealing with minor here, I'd want to be using the minor third instead of the major third, because I'm using open E. So I'm going between E major and E minor just to show you. Anyways, that was, I don't know why I did that. I'm supposed to just be talking about playing with the pick and doing riffs and open E. I guess that's what we call mystery lessons. So I gave you the mystery part 2 finger picking in open E. Well, I hope you've learned some things. I hope you enjoy it. Please email me, like the video, let me know you're into it. And I'm trying to work with you. I'm trying to get you to play blues and to learn intervals and learn how to use different techniques and skills and nuances and get into the dynamics and the phrasing and making your guitar talk for you. Your senses, all of your senses involved in all of this. Yes.